Joining me now is Wisconsin's Republican Senator Ron Johnson. Senator, it's great to have you with us this morning. And as we talk about what's taking place in Washington, D.C. right now, the million-dollar question is all concerning around Senators Lindsey Graham, Saxby Chambliss, Bob Corker, Congressman Peter King, among other Republicans who said they'd be willing to break away from Grover Norquist's anti-taxing pledge in order to reel in a deal. Will you say whether you're willing to break that pledge if necessary in order to reach the middle ground necessary to save the country from the fiscal cliff?
Well, Thomas, and first of all, I signed that pledge 2 years ago, but the reason I signed it is because I think increasing tax rates, increasing the amount of money that the federal government takes away from job creators is going to harm economic growth, and economic growth is the #1 component to a solution. What all these senators are saying is they'll take a look at their pledge only if the president puts forward his plan. Now, how is he going to close the other part of that deficit? You know, his proposal right now, the most you can say would raise would be about $68 billion when our deficit last year was $1,090 billion. So my question is, what is the president's plan, or what are the Democrats in the Senate's plan for closing the additional $1,022 billion, the additional $1 trillion worth of deficit? I haven't seen it, and I think that's really incumbent on the president, the Democrats in the Senate, to put forward their plan.
So from just your standpoint alone, there is no way you see fit in the coming 35 days that you would break that pledge with Grover Norquist? Well,
Thomas, let's use a couple numbers here. Even with this measly economic growth we've seen in the last 3 years, revenue to the federal government has increased $344 billion per year. If we just return to a normal economy that returns about 18.5% revenue to the federal government, that would increase revenue an additional over $400 billion per year. That's $750 billion of revenue per year through economic growth. And again, the president, his proposal would raise a tenth of that, but it would put at risk the economic growth and that $750 billion. So from my standpoint, raising taxes is counterproductive.
But that's not an answer to the question. So there's nothing that you see over the next 35 days that would have you break that pledge with Grover Norquist.
Because raising taxes harms economic growth, and I think I just showed the numbers. You get 10 times the revenue by economic growth rather than punishing success. And again, all of us are saying, President Obama, show us your plan for restraining the size of government, because that's the main problem. Again, his revenue proposal would raise $68 billion when we have over $1 trillion worth of deficit. Where's the other $1 trillion in his balanced plan? Mr. President, show us your plan.
Sir, one thing, Mitch McConnell, a minority leader there in the Senate, has said that revenue is on the table as long as entitlements would be on the table. The AFL-CIO is conducting a fly-in lobbying day there in Washington, D.C. This is where union leaders from 33 states are going to pressure their representatives to let the Bush tax cuts expire, keep Social Security out of the fiscal cliff negotiations. Lawmakers are being presented with this written letter, in part by Richard Trumka, who is the president of that. Now, the Huffington Post, sir, reported today that Trumka is accusing Republicans of holding the economy hostage in that letter, saying their ransom demands are tax cuts for the wealthy and benefit cuts for working people. How do you respond to Trumka saying that basically the right is holding hostage takers, basically, of the American economy at the expense of the working man for the benefit of the wealthiest Americans?
The only senators I've heard, threaten the American public in terms of taking the economy out the fiscal cliff is Democrat Senator Patty Murray, Harry Reid, even President Obama. He said he wants to compromise, but in his radio address, what did he say? He said there's only two options here: take the economy out the fiscal cliff or do it my way. Now, that doesn't sound like somebody who's really willing to negotiate in good faith. So listen, Republicans want to restore confidence and certainty to this economy. I don't want to play brinkmanship. The way to do this is through pro-growth tax reform. I'll quote the numbers again. You'll get 10 times the amount of revenue by growing the economy, $750 billion versus the measly $68 billion that the president's proposing by punishing success. I think that would work far better.
And you're saying revenue because by taxing the wealthiest of Americans, it cuts off what have been referred to as job creators from actually getting Americans to work, so we have more Americans working that are then paying into the tax system.
Thomas, I'm one of those job creators. I'm one of those small business people that, quite honestly, the president should have invited to the White House today. I could have explained to him what's on the minds of job creators, that people who make those investment decisions in capital equipment, make the hiring decisions. He doesn't understand that because he's never participated in it. so the problem with punishing success is you put at risk that economic growth that can increase revenue by $750 billion a year. You tell me what works better, growing the economy or punishing success?
Senator Ron Johnson. Sir, thanks for your time today. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too. This leads us to